Alright, so this is my first ever book review for YouTube. And yeah, the lighting for this I know is kind of terrible, but I don't know. I was trying to come up with like a different setting that I could use, and this was the best I could do on short notice. Uh, my books do not sit very high up off the ground. Um, this is about as high as they get in here, and I'm not even in a chair right now. I'm sitting on a pillow on the ground, and the camera is in a chair. But yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna try to come up with a better setting for future book reviews. Anyway, the first novel that I'm gonna talk about here is, as you can most likely notice, The Return by Bentley Little. Now, to give you a brief synopsis of this book, there's this small team of archaeologists who are digging up some ancient ruins when they make a pretty significant discovery that leads to some weird and really messed up things happening. Now, first off, getting into the characters of this novel, don't expect it to necessarily be like Stephen King or Dean Koontz, where you know everything that there is to know about the main characters, like down to what kind of music they listen to or what's their favorite coffee to drink. It doesn't get as deep as all that. Essentially, they do have personality. You do know what kind of people they are. You know their current situations in life, and of course, you know about this terrible journey that they're embarking on, but it's clear to see that the author wasn't trying to create some in depth character drama, which I was totally fine with. They're the type of characters that reach you on a more mythological level, and again, the author wasn't trying to make anything deep here. He just wanted to craft a tale that would scare the hell out of the readers. And as far as how much he succeeded goes, I would like to say that 6 years ago, I read this book by Ramsey Campbell called The Hungry Moon, and it was the first novel I had read in years which reminded me of what it was like to be a little boy and be afraid of the dark once again. And ever since then, no book has really come close. There have been other books which have creeped me out, like It by Stephen King, and even John Dies at the End by David Wong got me a bit. But within the past 6 years, The Return has been the only novel which has even come close to scaring me as much as The Hungry Moon. And as far as, you know, what scared me about this book, I don't really want to go too in depth into that. I want it to surprise you. But I will say that some of the scariest moments were ones that involved animals. And I would just like to warn you, if your soft spot for animals is so strong that you could not possibly bear to read about terrible things happening to them, don't read this book. Um, Also, there are some pretty bad things that happen to children in the novel, which aren't as bad. Something completely different happens to them. What happens to the animals is worse, but if you have a soft spot for children that is so strong that you couldn't bear to read about anything terrible happening to them, you probably want to avoid this novel. But if you think you have the stomach for it, then it does come recommended. That's not all I have to say, though. There are a couple of flaws in this book. For one thing, I thought that the ending was a little too cut and dry for my taste. Like, at the point where I read the last page, I was just like, okay, I guess that's it. Um, you know, it felt like it ended a little too clean for me. Um, Also, there's a point in the novel where these people are being drawn into these ruins by some malevolent psychic force, and these policemen are trying to keep them from entering, by, putting up these barricades around the ruins. And my problem with that is the fact that the policemen weren't being affected by the same force. I mean, newsflash, cops are people too. Was there just something in their uniforms that was creating a barrier around them? I don't know. That didn't really make any sense. But still, it does make for a very solid read, especially if you're interested in something that will keep you up at night. So, anyway, that's all I've got to say about The Return. I hope you all have a good one.